What's going on, guys? Austin Zaback here. I'm here today with Templeton Walker, my boy, and we're actually gonna be touring his luxury pods, okay? Now these things are freaking dope, bro.
Thank you.
And we're standing here on his lot right now in Chandler, Arizona, and he's doing some really cool stuff, and I wanna just go ahead and have Templeton explain what he's got going on with these pods, what you can use them for, just all the cool stuff you got going on, brother. I appreciate you being on the show.
I'm back. You guys might have saw me on the podcast. I was excited when I was able to share this. So guys, I started a company called Luxury Box. Pretty much they're shipping containers that we convert into living spaces, office spaces, really any space that you can think of, we can turn it into for you. So come take a look.
Let's go take a look, brother. So what got you into this? Like, how did this whole thing start?
Okay, so the first container that we have here, I bought off a custom home builder, and he kept moving it from site to site during his builds and using it as an office.
Okay.
So, and when I dropped it with the crane, I put it on my social media, which obviously you and I do social media a lot, and I had never had more DMs. Like, people were going crazy. They're like, what is that? Where'd you get it? How'd you get it? Like, I need to know more.
Yeah.
So it like popped in my brain. I was like, dude, that's a business. I was like, I'm sure I could build these, because I own the flipping company where I manage construction on these giant houses.
Sure.
So I think I could do this, was kind of my thought. And there seems to be an appetite and a demand for it. So I'm from a small town up north, Grand Canyon, Arizona. My best friend Vince, who owns this with me, Vince and Will are my two best friends. We own this together, and I was like, you know what? These guys are really skilled and talented, and they'll probably know how to build these. And if I can sell them and I can finance it, I think we have a company here.
Right.
So I figured out where to buy them raw. Raw would be just like a normal shipping container.
Which we're gonna look at.
Yeah,
in a
you'll
while.
see a raw
Yep.
one here in a second. So we bought them raw. We purchased a plasma cutter, like cutting the metal. Our other friend Kurt, who helps us with the fabrication up in Seligman, we're building them there in that small town. Yep. And I was like, let me just see if I can sell them. So I bought 6 of them, and they sold.
Wow.
So now I'm like, all right, we have a company here.
Yeah.
So now we're in the process of building out a website, a sales team, and we want to scale the business. So
I love that.
That's kind of how it started.
So show me what you have here. So this right here is a 20-foot by 8-foot shipping container.
Yeah,
right?
so it's just it's a shipping container with a full glass package.
Okay.
And then what we do, one of the big things that you really got to think about is you got to frame them out and insulate them. Because if you don't have insulation and a cooling element, they're too hot.
Right.
So fully insulated with the highest grade insulation. They have a mini split, which gives you HVAC and heating. And then it has a sub panel so you can hook up electric. So your sub panel can connect to your main house or whatever. If you're off grid, you could hook up to solar. But you have this panel that can now bring in power.
Yep.
And then the aesthetic of it, I think the reason why people love them so much is the glass.
Right.
I mean, the glass just opens up.
It looks incredible.
It's really cool.
Like,
so,
you drive down the road and you can like see it back here.
Yes,
you
and
know?
we have so many people that like creep by, like, what is that?
Yeah.
So this one we built out as a podcast studio for my other company, SoulPod, that I own with Miguel and Rodolfo, who you got to meet.
Sure.
So we use this as a meeting space and a podcast studio. And what I really found out was like, gosh, people could use this as a home office or a pool house or a workout room. And then the idea came, hey, let's make this an off-grid or a casita or a living house, give you a kitchenette, a bathroom and shower, and a toilet, and we could build it out that way. So now it's just really kind of gone crazy.
Haywire. So when you go in here, you go through this big sliders. I mean, you got it fully decked out, right?
Yeah.
You've got the wood in here. You've got drywall, insulation, the entire nine. I mean, it is like a house.
Full lighting package. And I mean, we were hanging out in here for like the last hour. It's completely cool. Like once these doors close.
Dude, even with the doors wide open.
Yeah, like the AC.
Like it feels good. Like, and it's a hot day.
And that's like a lot of people's main concern. It's like, is it gonna stay at temp? It almost gets too cold.
Right.
Right, and then in the winter time, when we drop this in Flagstaff or whatever, with the heating, it does just fine as well.
Wow.
So, and imagine this, like on a piece of property up north, you're in the pine trees, you have a deck built off of it, or you have a pergola like this. I always like to think of products now as like, how would it do marketing and Instagram? Like people want to be able to take that picture and be like, oh, I stayed here.
Yeah.
And I think these crushes that.
Dude, people book Airbnbs based on pictures.
Based on the picture I'm going to be able to take with me and my fiance overlooking this in this cool shipping container build. That was kind of the thought.
So you really have multiple different, we were talking about a little while ago, you have multiple different clienteles, right? Where in consumers, you've got an investor that's like, hey, I could buy a couple of these shipping containers, I could put them on a piece of dirt up in Payson and Flagstaff, wherever, right? Wherever in the country, really, long term, and they could rent them out. They could Airbnb them. They could do like really cool things with them, right? Then you've got the guy, like you said, that has wants extra space, right, in his backyard, wants an office, wants a studio, wants to slap it in the backyard. And what was the third end consumer that you were talking about?
The third person that I think this is going to work really well for is, imagine they buy our 40-footer, which is quite big. You just were looking at it, you're like, dang, that's big. They put a bedroom, a kitchenette, a bathroom, and it's truly a house for them. And now they can go put that on a piece of land, and their all-in cost is 85 grand. That person who couldn't afford rent or couldn't afford a house anymore in this inflated environment now has an affordable home.
Wow.
Right? And something that's a tangible asset that they own.
Yep.
There's nowhere else that you're going to be able to do that at this price point.
Right.
So yeah, I think the person with some extra money that wants a pool house, or the investor who wants to create cash flow, this is a great game for them. But it's also the person that's like, look, I can't keep up with inflation and I don't want to be homeless. Where do I go?
Right.
I think this is a really good option.
I love that. Let's go check out the 40-footer, and let's check out, I want to see like the different stages. So you've got a couple of other pods over here, and these are 3 20-footers, right?
Yep.
Okay. And basically, this is how they look when you initially get them. This is obviously a 40-footer.
So this is a 40-footer, and this one's actually, these shipping containers are rated Class C or D, C, B, and A.
Okay.
The ones we're building are Class A, so they look like this when you buy them. They look like this one here.
Like, when you say look like that, like what do you mean? The color of them?
The color of it, everything is that.
It came
That's
like
raw.
that.
That's an A.
You didn't paint that.
This one I bought, and this one actually, you guys, just houses one of my flipping companies. All of our tools and equipment are in there.
Okay.
So this is separate than this company, but it does give you a good example of what a 40-footer is. But I'm not going to sell someone a C class.
Right.
I'm only going to build on A class, which is going to come to me like this.
And what's the difference primarily? Obviously, I can look and see that this looks like it's in much better shape than that. But are there any other like structural differences between an A and a C?
Yeah, so it's just the integrity of the build.
Okay.
How many times has it crossed the ocean? How many times has it, been in the elements? And then it deteriorates. Like, this one's not going to be as weather tight as this one.
Yeah.
This one's going to be perfectly weather tight, but this one's a Class C. It's been through the rigors longer.
Right.
Right. So we only want to build on Class A.
Gotcha.
But Class C, for me to house my tools and everything for another company, this was perfect.
I love that.
But, so a Class A like this, we'll call this a raw.
Okay.
And we're going to buy it like that. Okay. Then we go to fabrication and we're going to cut it. So we have a plasma cutter. It's able to cut steel. And then you got to buy this metal and we fully trim it out. So you'll see here, not only did we cut it, you had to frame it out with steel.
Yep.
And then we also frame out because we put a slider on the end cap. So we're framed out for a slider.
And so you can actually open these doors and you've got another slider and it's like an open concept.
So imagine you're in your backyard and your fence is that way and you're facing your house, but you have all this yard over here. I didn't want that to not be like exposed. So you can open these and now you have glass that direction and it can really flow really well.
Sure, but you could also have it closed and you'd never know. Like in the one we just came from, you've got like roll down blinds.
You didn't even know there was glass there. You're like, dude, there's another door there?
Yeah.
So it's a nice feature. So now we're gonna go from this raw cut where we fabricate to trim out. So you'll see we're pre-cut for our HVAC split so that we have that nice cut. That's where our electrical and our HVAC is gonna come through.
Okay.
And then we're gonna frame it out. We're going to insulate it, we're going to drywall it, we're going to do tape texture mud, paint, flooring, baseboards, lighting package, your electrical switches, everything like that. And then once it arrives on site at its destination, we have our glass team come in and put the glass in.
Right.
Because we don't want to transport it with the glass.
Gotcha. Okay.
So we would, like, let's say you bought this from me and we're going to land it in your backyard.
Yep.
It's going to land fully trimmed out and ready with
this hole.
It'll be weather tight sealed with like heavy duty plastic, almost like a tarp. But this hole's going to be here, and then my glass team's going to come in after the fact and get your glass installed.
Okay, both of them.
Both of them.
Okay.
Because I don't want to transport it on the flatbed.
Sure.
and like have some shifting or something with the glass, I'd rather just stay away.
1,000,000%. Okay. And then the plasma cutter, where does all of this take place? Like, where do you cut the hole?
So all this is happening in Seligman, Arizona.
Okay.
So our fabrication process right now, we're buying up there in Seligman, which is a tiny town. It's on the I-40. My best friend Vincent Willer from there. It's our favorite place in the world. But most people, if you blink on the I-40, you miss the town.
Yeah.
But Kurt is up there, our other partner and friend. I think he's even my cousin somehow. Kurt is fabricating. Once he gets done with this metal piece, Will puts it on the flatbed, brings it down. We land it here, and then we finish the build on our dirt here.
Wow. Yeah. I love that. Right here in Chandler.
Right here in Chandler, baby.
So you buy it like that, one on the end, then it looks like this. And this one, what is left to do here?
Nothing. We just got to transport it.
Okay.
So this one, you guys, I don't have the key on me right now, but this one's fully trimmed out.
Yep.
We have the glass on this one already because the client that purchased it, he was supposed to have his site ready, like the clearing so he could land it. He did not, and we had already had the glass installed. So we're going to have to transport this one with glass, but we feel good about it.
Yep.
But this one's fully done.
Maybe
and
this one's not going too far or something like that.
It's just going in town.
Okay, got it.
And we're using a heavier duty crane to make sure we really lift it as gently as possible and set it.
Sure.
These cranes are crazy. The first time I saw us drop this one, I mean, it was precision the way this crane guy came, and we just had some ropes and we just set it down like gentle.
I love that. We were talking a little bit before the show about like plumbing. If somebody were to buy a 40-footer and they wanted to have an actual bedroom, maybe a kitchenette, they wanted a bathroom, you know, a toilet.
Yep.
And I was asking you, I was like, okay, well, and I'm sure it depends city by city, state by state, or where you were to put it, right? But what does that look and feel like? You know, do people have to plumb? Do you have to have underground plumbing, or how does that typically look and feel?
No, you don't. So you absolutely can. Like if you want to hook up and get your city permit and hook up to your sewer, you can do that. But what we did is in our kitchenette builds that have the bathroom, we have a special toilet that essentially has a pump in it that can make the water and the sewage run uphill.
Yeah.
So you don't have to plumb into the ground and set this on some sort of foundation or structure. You could just put it right on the grade wherever you want to put it. And then you can run that to a septic. You could run that to actual sewage, wherever you want to put it. And the other cool thing we did is we actually have it hooked up to where you could just hook up a garden hose.
Wow.
So if you wanted a water source, you don't have to go to the city, just hook up a hose and now you have water.
Wow.
If you want to go to the city and put it like city water on, go ahead.
Right.
But we made it as easy as possible. So someone that's doing off grid and they have a water tank, all they have to do is run a hose.
So cool.
They run a septic and they could run solar and they're done.
That's so cool. Let's go back and check out the finished one really quick. So I want to really understand the numbers.
Yep.
So when we look at this pod right here, you know, what could somebody purchase? Like if I wanted the same finishes here, right?
Yep.
You know, I wanted the nice wood floors. I wanted, you know, the lighting package, the AC, the whole thing, 20-footer. What does something like this run me out the door, installed in my home?
40 grand.
Wow.
So our base model, and this is what I'm most excited about, Austin, is that the competitors in the space are typically having to do a stick built or some sort of like additional structure that we're finding is going to run them about $130,000 to $200,000. So now for 40 grand, I can land this on your site wherever you want it. That includes shipping, and you're fully trimmed out. You have your HVAC, you have your sub panel. Like you can land this. This includes your lighting package, your flooring, your glass. You're done.
It's insane.
So that's our base model on an 8x20.
Okay.
So now let's say you wanted a 40-footer base model. You're going to land at 60.
Okay.
So
60 if I'm doing a similar concept, or what does that 60 get me? Does that get me a kitchenette? Does it get me a toilet, or does the price go up a little bit if I want to start turning it into
goes
like...
up. So your base on a 40 is going to look just like this, but 40
About
feet
40.
long. And that's going to run you 60 grand. So now on a 20-footer, if you wanted a kitchenette and things like this, you know, full kitchen, bathroom, you're going to land at about, imagine 10 grand increments.
Okay.
So you'd land at about 60 on a fully like small home.
Yep.
On the 40-footer, pardon me, you're going to land at about 80,000 for a full build out.
Okay.
So we've kept it simple. Your base is either 40 or 60, and then your options are going to run you about 10 and 10 to trim it out the way you want.
So no matter what, you're going to land, I mean, if you wanted to deck out a 40-footer, you're under 100 grand.
Yeah, you'll probably, our highest price we're going to charge you is probably 85,000.
Wow.
If you want to frame in a bedroom, full kitchenette, which is totally doable on the 40-footer.
Yeah. I mean, you could even have multiple doors, could you not, on a 40-footer?
Yeah.
Like obviously on the 20-footers, we have the two sliders. We have the main slider and the one on the end.
Yep.
But on a 40-footer, what does that typically look like in terms of doors? Or can you customize it however you want?
You can customize it. So we try to keep the customization, especially once we hit scale. to somewhat of a minimum. But if you called me and said, hey, Temp, I really want that slider position to the left and I'd like a second one, we could go ahead and do that. I mean, I'm the one building them. So if you wanted to make some changes to your door package or even to your finish package, we're happy to have that conversation.
Wow, I love that. Well, Temp, dude, it was awesome out here touring this. I absolutely love it. So the name of the company is Luxury Box.
Yep, Luxury Box. We're based out of Seligman, Arizona, and then here in Chandler, and we're taking deposits. So to get started on one of these builds, let's say you want to, we're starting production. You're going to put $10,000 hard EM down, right? Because I'm going to go actually buy the container and start your build.
Sure.
And then that's going to take us about 6 to 8 weeks to complete your build, and we could have it dropped wherever you tell us.
You get them done quick.
Yeah.
6 to 8 weeks is not a long time at all.
No, it's a great build out time. Again, when we looked at our competitors, we were thinking price and then how long it takes. Other people are 6 to 8 months out.
Easily.
And it's double the price. So I was like, all right, how do we find our unfair advantage in this market? And this is what we landed on.
I love that, man. Well, hey, dude, I'm going to put all your information down below. I really appreciate you giving everybody a tour today. I love it. I cannot wait. If I have more space in my backyard right now, I would totally throw one in my backyard. So I'm buying one. We're going to move, and then I'm definitely going to buy one. Well,
you guys saw it on camera. He's buying one.
You're the man. I appreciate it. Hey, thank you so much for watching the video. All of Templeton's information will be down below. Definitely go check him out. Check out Luxury Box. Check out what he's doing. I appreciate you for watching the video. If you haven't already, smash that like button, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.